how are you feeling physically? And on top of that, how would you assess just tonight and what you can take away from this performance and I guess pick up and try to get back at it Friday?
Yeah, obviously a tough night shooting the ball. It's gonna happen. It's basketball. One of those nights. Overall, I didn't feel like I played bad. I felt as a group we really struggled to make shots that we had been making really since the start of the second half, and sometimes that's basketball. They're a great defensive team. They're gonna be physical with me. They're strong, so that can kind of wear you down through the process of the game. Obviously I played 37 minutes and I subbed myself out right there in the first quarter for that little break. So probably would have gone all 40 again too. So I think just, prepare the best I can going forward. With the day in between, you really got to take time for your body. Definitely one of those nights shooting the ball. But then again, it's basketball, happens to everybody.
Alexa and Tony.
Caitlin, Kelsey was in here and brought up maybe that this wasn't the best night discipline-wise for this group. Just curious if you thought that was an issue out there and that's something maybe you guys have been better at in the second half and maybe just was a step in the other direction.
Yeah, I think we could have definitely been better. Obviously, you're going to say that after you lose. But at the same time, our goal is to hold people under 84 points, and we held them to 86. And they got a lot of offensive firepower. So, but at the same time, I felt like they missed some shots that they usually make as well. So you have to give them a little leeway there too. So I think there's definitely things that we can go back and look at and clean up and prepare for, Friday when we play again. But I think we just seemed a step slow on the offensive end, especially. And especially with the type of defense they're going to play, they're going to be physical, they're going to be in your space. We have to set and use screens better. But defensively, I think I'm proud of our group. We really struggled to make shots, but we never let that affect our defense. I thought we really battled, and they got some calls where they got some and ones late in the game too. So I'm honestly proud of how we did. I thought we were pretty resilient, and hopefully we can shoot a little better on Friday.
Go Tony, then Christine.
Caitlin, we've heard from a couple of you guys about using this kind of series style as a playoff launching moment. And you've had some of these series styles before this year, but how has your ability to adjust against an opponent changed throughout the season? What do you feel like you guys need to do better on Friday?
Yeah, I feel like at this point in the season, you're obviously very familiar with every single team that you're going to play. This is going to be our fourth time playing them. So I still feel like we haven't really given them the best that we have. So I think Friday is a great opportunity for us to do that. But yeah, it is obviously a unique experience. I don't know if we've played a team really back-to-back, other than maybe New York early in the year. I think we played them right away. We went there, they came back here. So I think it's one of those ones you got to go back and tweak a few things that didn't work, add a few things that they might not be ready for. But overall, just continue to be confident in what we've been able to do since we really figured out our identity and who we are, and figure out how to make some bunnies. And I think just continue to be confident. Some nights you're not going to be as good as you were the other night, but you just learn from it and move on.
Go Christine and Matt.
Caitlin, as the game wore on, you guys were still 7-9 points. It was almost doable in some way if things had gone, if a three had gone or whatever. Could you take us in your mindset of knowing that maybe just 1-3 or one moment, especially with this crowd, right on a school night, just amazing, that really could turn the tide for you?
Yeah, well, I thought the game felt very choppy. It didn't feel like there was any moments where the crowd could get into it, where we could really get into a flow. I'm not sure if that's the way it was officiated, whether it was good calls or bad calls, whatever it was. It just felt like there was a lot of stoppage within the game, and sometimes that's hard to really get your team going in a flow, especially with the style of basketball that we want to play. You really want to get up tempo and continue to play. And then obviously AB gets in foul trouble, and I thought AB honestly played really, really good defense tonight. But I think overall, like you said, the crowd was really good, and I felt like even though it was 7 points or 8 points, all we needed was 1-3 and then another stop, and we make a layup, and who knows, and then it's a one-possession game. But it felt like we just couldn't find the way to get over the hump like we have in the past, whether it was with Minnesota where we got back to one possession, or whether it was the Dream where we got back and eventually won the game. But it would be nice to not have to have those prayers where you're fighting to get back within one possession, especially in the fourth quarter. Yes, we're capable of it, but it would be nice to be the team with the lead and try to defend that on your home court instead. And that should be our goal going into Friday.
Go Matt, and finish up with Chloe.
Yeah, Caitlin, you guys get to see Las Vegas again on Friday. I was just curious how much of a challenge it is to deal with Chelsea Gray's physicality on defense, especially when refs are gonna, call those offensive fouls on the arms.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Chelsea didn't guard me a ton, maybe a couple times. Jackie was usually the defender that was matched up on me, or when Colson came in. And honestly, they're all really good defenders. They're physical, they're strong. The offensive fouls are definitely surprising at times. I feel like I do get held and get quite a bit of contact throughout the games, and then you get hit with some of those when you take some contact and give contact back. It is what it is. I mean, I don't know. Like, apparently they see something different, and then we have to use our challenge to try to not let AB have a 5th foul in the 3rd quarter that basically takes her out of the game. We lose a challenge, we lose a timeout, so that's tough as well. But I mean, they're going to be visible. They're going to do it again. It worked. But that's what I should expect at this point. That's kind of what every team does. I think I can use my quickness a little bit better, absorb a little more contact, set up cuts a little bit better. I thought overall I got a little bit tired and wasn't moving as fast tonight. So definitely will be a focus point on Friday.
Chloe, last one.
Yeah, you mentioned, you weren't able to get into a flow. Did Lexie kind of getting in foul trouble in the first half, and obviously you mentioned AB, did that just all affect it as well?
Yeah, I mean, you never want people on your team getting in foul trouble, but at the same time, like, it's just next man up. You put people in the game, and you just keep moving on. And honestly, I thought we did a pretty good job of that. And like I said, I'm proud of our group. Like, we battled. Like, we really did. Like, we got some stops on defense. We were pretty resilient in that regard. I thought we rebounded really well as well. I thought Tammy was great on the boards. I thought she was really good on defense. But I think, like I said, you just got to go back and learn from it. I think we can always do a little bit better job of, like, I feel like we're there and we're in good position. It's just like we're not keeping our verticality at times, and they're going to call that any time, and whether you touch it or not. And it's not something you can really go back and review because if you're not vertical, they're still going to give you the foul. So I think just we're playing good defense and just continue to play it out through the entire possession.
We talked a lot pregame about kind of viewing these 2 games with the Aces as like a little mini playoff series.
Yeah.
How do you, as a veteran and as a leader,
Yeah.
how do you go about leading your team without actually having played in a playoff series before down the stretch of the season?
Honestly, really good question. I think right now we have to visualize it, and I mean that's a really awesome question. I think, like you said, you have to visualize it like it is a series. And knowing that it's the series with the Vegas Aces, I think you don't get no better than that from like seeing where you are standpoint. I think that we got to gauge where we are against reigning champs, and I think that we put ourselves in a position to go back to film, see what we can be better at. And as a leader, it's my job to make sure that we have confidence, because even though we lost, even though things didn't go our way, confidence is always going to uproot anything else, and I think that we got to have that going into Friday.
Go Christine, then Alexa.
Kelsey, as tough as it was, right, missed shots and turnovers and whatever, you guys were kind of always close enough. Was there that sense that if you could have made a run, that you could have?
Oh, for sure.
And is there a positive to take from that?
Yeah, that's what I was telling to the previous question. It's not all bad. I think that, considering when we used to play the Vegas Aces, especially this year alone, our first game, and you look back to this, 3rd or 4th game, hats off to our group, because we came a lot of different ways on both ends of the floor. And if we could have got, an extra possession here and there offensively, of course, I think that we would have had a better position and, go ahead and get what you guys usually see. But, life happens. Shots don't always fall, and I think it's a part of the game.
Go Alexa, then James on the right.
Kelsey over here, kind of going off that question earlier, when you guys think about the goals that you have for this season as a group and for longer term, and then you look at a team like the Aces who have won 2 championships, what are some of the qualities that they have that you guys think you can emulate and kind of the push for you guys to be contenders?
Oh man, I think the one thing I saw at the group down the stretch was a dog mentality to get the next stop. We had, made a stretch and made a really good run down the stretch of the game, and I think that they turned it on during that timeout. And I think that, great teams turn into a different person, a different beast, a different group when you come out of ATOs and we, do certain things and need certain things. And I think, they didn't tuck your quote-unquote tail. They kind of came out in that timeout and kind of went on another run, and I think that's what you see from the best.
Go James and Matt.
Kelsey, what was it about that second quarter that made it so difficult to score, and how did you like the response that you all showed?
Oh man, I think I think that anytime you guys don't see us defend and see us get stops, you won't see us in transition where we really are our best. I think, hands down, one of the best transition teams I've ever been a part of, and I think you guys see that when we defend, and I think, down the stretch, Tiff Hayes got loose, and then Kelsey Plum got loose, and, we didn't stop the bleeding enough on the defensive end to kind of, get what we wanted in the second quarter, I don't think, so.
We'll go Matt, then we'll finish up with down and back.
Yeah, Kelsey, Lexie gets in foul trouble in the second, Aliyah gets in foul trouble in the
Yeah.
fourth. It seemed like there was a lot of different lineup combinations out
Yeah.
there. How much of a role, if at all, do you think that played in, maybe not being able to get that,
I think it's always a next man up mentality from our group, but like I said, down the stretch, you saw who Asia Wilson was, and what she could bring to the table, and I think that collectively, no matter who is in or out, we have to pay attention to be more mindful and be more disciplined to keep our best of the best a part of those runs, and during next man up, be disciplined. I think our discipline kind of shot us in the foot today.
Down, last one in the back.
Yeah, Kelsey, it just kind of felt like a grind offensively.
Yeah, it really was.
In this one today, was
It
it
was.
kind of, do you look in the mirror like that's on us? Were they doing something
Yeah.
defensively? And then playing this team on Friday, what can you look, I know you haven't looked at the tape yet, but just something you can take away to have better success on Friday?
Man, I think for us to even be in conversation Friday, to be a team like that, we have to, the 50-50 balls, the outworking, taking that foul, that aggressive foul, not meaning to hurt anybody, but obviously, we got to be intentional with everything we do going into Friday, and we can't play around with it. I think that we all kind of lapsed, and we kind of took whatever, we took whatever they gave us, and we didn't have to. And so I think going into our next maturation, our next group, and our next phase of Friday, we can't take anything. We have to punch first, and when they do punch back, we got to be able to stand up and get back to it.